Hey everyone, it's June 15th, and that means that if today is your birthday, you share it with multiple murderer Joe Clarence Smith, who killed two teen girls in the mid-1970s and would likely have been a full-fledged serial killer were he not caught. And that is him right up there. Smith was born in 1949 and grew up in Arizona with what is reported as a relatively normal childhood. His father was a machinist, and Smith worked in his shop from the time he was a teenager, getting along well with both of his parents and his sister. A good student, Smith attended college after high school and was well liked by his peers. He had a girlfriend that was happy in their relationship, and all seemed well to the outside world. But inside, something was off, with friends believing that Smith had multiple personalities, calling himself John Jameson, and having a different demeanor than normal when in that state. Later psychological tests showed that he had antisocial, egocentric, paranoid, manic, and impulsive behaviors, which were indicative of Smith having a sociopathic or psychopathic character disorder. His dark side showed itself when he was in his early 20s, being placed on probation for committing two rapes in 1973. He followed that up with sexually assaulting a pregnant woman in 1975, and in July of that year, picking up a 15-year-old hitchhiker who he assaulted and stabbed repeatedly. Luckily, she survived the attack, but he was just getting started. Smith killed for the first time that December when he took an 18-year-old hitchhiker into the desert. He tied her up, stripped her naked, and shoved dirt in her mouth and nose, causing her to die from asphyxiation. But he then stabbed her 19 times and mutilated her pubic region, with some stab wounds found inside her genitals. After lodging a 2-inch sewing needle into her breast, he left the body in the desert and returned to Phoenix. A month later, Smith abducted a 14-year-old hitchhiker and, after sexually assaulting her, forced dirt into her mouth and nose, then stabbed her repeatedly in the torso and groin. With his background, Smith was a prime suspect when the bodies were discovered, and police put him under surveillance. They ran a sting operation with a female detective pretending to be thumbing a ride, and he took the bait, taking the woman to his father's machine shop and attempting to restrain her, which was the signal for arresting officers to come in. He initially denied any involvement in the murders, but while awaiting trial, he broke down and confessed, saying that John Jameson, his alter ego, forced him to rape and kill the girls. Smith was deemed sane enough to stand trial and was convicted and sentenced to death in 1977. An appeal overturned that sentence, and he was back in court in 1979, once again being sent to death row. Another appeal for incompetent counsel went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, where he was yet again given a reprieve in 1999, but was sentenced to die for a third time in 2004. His appeals continue, with the Supreme Court denying his most recent request to have his sentence overturned just 3 weeks ago. Smith has now spent 44 years on death row, making him one of America's longest-serving and oldest death row inmates. If this is your birthday, I hope you have a great day. Leave me a comment so I can wish you a happy birthday. If you know somebody whose birthday it is today, send them this video so they can find out all about their birthday twin. And to Joe Clarence Smith, I say, happy birthday, you bastard.